A 41-year-old LeBron James just averaged 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists in a playoff series. He was the only player in the entire 2026 playoffs to finish top 10 in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and field goals made. At 41, he was still controlling games, still setting the pace, and still doing things that should not have been possible. In Game 2, he threw down a reverse windmill in front of a sold-out crowd in Los Angeles. In Game 3, with 13 seconds left, he buried a game-tying 3 to steal a game his team had no business winning. Then in the closeout, he dropped 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists to send the Houston Rockets home for the summer. That was LeBron James at 41 years old in what might honestly be his last playoff run in a Lakers jersey. But here's the thing. He did not do it alone, and that is what makes this story so good. It was not just one superstar dragging a team through a series. Everybody had a hand in it. Marcus Smart put up a stat line in Game 3 that nobody had matched since Michael Jordan in 1991. Rui Hachimura became a matchup nightmare. Luke Kennard opened the series with 27 points and completely reset the tone of what people thought this team was capable of. And J.J. Redick, only in his second year as a head coach, outmaneuvered a coach who had been to the finals. The Lakers entered the series as a plus 550 underdog, their biggest first-round underdog since 2013. Almost every analyst at ESPN had Houston winning in 5 or 6 games. Instead, the Lakers won the series 4-2. So how did this happen? Because to understand the payoff, you have to remember exactly how cooked everyone said this team was. The doubt going into round 1 was loud. The Lakers were missing the NBA scoring champion, Luka Doncic, who tore his hamstring on April 2nd against Oklahoma City. It was a grade 2 tear, and he had not played since. There was no timeline, no contact basketball, and nothing concrete coming from the medical staff. Austin Reeves was out too with a strained oblique. He missed the final regular season games and the start of the playoffs. So now you had a Lakers team entering the postseason with LeBron as the lone star, surrounded by role players, journeymen, and a head coach who had never won a playoff series. Across from them stood the Houston Rockets. 52 wins. Kevin Durant, Alperen Sengun, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr. Reed Shepard, Tari Eason, young, deep, athletic, and hungry. A team a lot of people genuinely believed could make a deep playoff run heading into this postseason. On paper, the gap looked obvious. And the betting line told you everything. BetMGM opened the Lakers at plus 550. Houston came in as a minus 800 favorite. According to Sports Odds History, that made this the 5th biggest underdog spot the Lakers had faced in any playoff series since 1988, and their biggest since 2013. If you remember 2013, that was the year the Spurs swept Los Angeles in the first round by an average of 18 points a game. The last 4 times the Lakers entered the first round as this big of an underdog, they lost every single series. History was not exactly on their side, and it was not just the bookmakers. Every talking head spent 2 straight weeks running through the same checklist. Too old, too shorthanded, too outmatched. There was no nuance. No, maybe they could surprise you. No, maybe if a few things break right. The narrative was almost unanimous. The Lakers were supposed to go home in the first round of the 2026 playoffs. Then Game 1 tipped off, and the entire script got thrown out the window. The day before the opener, Kevin Durant was ruled out with a bruised knee. It did not matter. The Lakers were still expected to lose. Instead, they came out and shot 61% from the field, 53% from 3, and ran Houston off the floor. Luke Kennard went 5 for 5 from deep and finished with a career playoff-high 27 points. LeBron quietly filled the box score with 19 points and 13 rebounds. The Lakers led for 93% of the game. Final score, 107-98. What was supposed to be a moral victory turned into a statement. Then came Game 2. Durant returned.
Fewest made threes all season in a game for the Lakers, and the Rockets keep their season alive.
Get it ahead for James. Slaps it over to Kennard. Lakers are down by 3 for the tie. Score!
And J.J. Redick rolled out the answer. Blitz him. Double him. Make him give it up. Durant turned the ball over 9 times. And suddenly Houston looked uncomfortable. LeBron responded with 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Then in the third quarter, he blew past Durant and threw down a reverse windmill that lit up social media for 2 straight days. A 41-year-old throwing down a reverse in a playoff game is ridiculous. The Lakers made 13 threes. Houston made 8. Los Angeles went up 2-0 after 2 home games. Then the series shifted to Houston, and Game 3 became the one people will replay for years. Durant was out again, this time with a sprained ankle. The Rockets went up 6 with under 30 seconds left. ESPN's win probability had Houston at 97%. The game looked finished. Then Marcus Smart drew a 3-shot foul on a wild closeout and calmly knocked down all 3 free throws. On the next possession, LeBron stripped Reed Sheppard clean, pulled up from deep, and buried the game-tying 3 with 13 seconds left. Sengun missed a 7-footer at the buzzer, and the Lakers stole overtime. Smart opened overtime with a 3. Hachimura grabbed an offensive rebound and finished the layup. Smart closed it at the line. His final line that night, 21 points, 10 assists, 5 steals, 2 blocks. The last player to put together a playoff game like that was Michael Jordan in 1991. Hachimura finished with 22 points, and 16 of them came in the first quarter alone. He went 6 for 6 from the floor and kept hunting Reed Sheppard in that matchup. Every time the Lakers found that switch, they went right back to it. Houston had no answer early, and Rui made sure the pressure never let up. 3-0 Lakers. Then they blinked. Game 4 was Houston's counterpunch. All 5 Rocket starters scored 16 or more. The Lakers turned it over 24 times. LeBron had 8 turnovers and just 10 points on 2 for 9 shooting. Houston's youngest lineup, Sheppard, Smith, Thompson, Sengun, and Eason, outplayed Los Angeles from start to finish. They were quicker to loose balls, sharper in transition, and more aggressive on second chances. The Lakers hit their fewest threes of the season in a single game, and the Rockets kept their season alive. Get it ahead for James. He swings it to Kennard. Lakers down 3 for the tie. It's good. LeBron James. Game 5 went back to Los Angeles. Austin Reeves returned and gave them 22 and 6 in his first game back, but the threes stopped falling. Across games 4 and 5 combined, the Lakers shot 12 for 49 from deep. That spacing disappeared, and suddenly every possession felt harder. Then Sheppard got his revenge on LeBron, ripped him clean, and took it in for a dunk with 2 minutes left. Houston won 99-93. Now the series was 3-2, heading back to Houston. And this was the moment when everything people said before the series, too old, too short-handed, too outmatched, started creeping back to the surface. You could feel the pressure building again. The momentum had shifted, and now every doubt that had disappeared after Game 3 came rushing back. Unless J.J. Redick and LeBron James had something else to say about it. Spoiler, they did. Start with the coach, because honestly, J.J. Redick deserves more credit than he is getting for this one. His defensive game plan against Kevin Durant became the foundation of the entire series. He blitzed Durant on every ball screen. He doubled him in the post. He threw bodies at him from every angle and forced him to give the ball up. Marcus Smart described it after the game as the Lakers throwing different packages at Houston all night. Drop coverage, hedge and recover, switching, zone looks, everything mixed together. Houston is a young team, and JJ never let them settle into rhythm long enough to figure out what was coming next. Every time it looked like the Rockets were finding a read, the coverage changed again. That constant pressure kept them reacting instead of attacking. He also did something with Marcus Smart that not every coach would think to do. Instead of using Smart strictly as a defensive role player, he put the ball in his hands and made him a primary playmaker. That meant Houston actually had to guard him on offense. It opened driving lanes for LeBron and pulled Smart into the flow of the game on both ends. He averaged nearly a double-double for the series, and his fingerprints were all over every Lakers win. When the Lakers needed poise, he gave it to them. When they needed pressure, he brought that too. Then there was the matchup, hunting. JJ identified Reed Sheppard early as Houston's defensive weak link, and he kept running specific actions to get Hachimura isolated on him. That is why Rui dropped 16 points in the first quarter of Game 3 while going 6 for 6 from the floor. That was not luck. That was a coach reading a matchup, building a game plan around it, and trusting his player to execute. It was simple, direct, and it worked exactly the way Los Angeles needed it to. But the moment that really sold me on JJ's growth came between Games 5 and 6. The Lakers had just dropped 2 straight, and Houston was crushing them on the offensive glass. The Rockets were the best offensive rebounding team in the league. So JJ ran what he called a Texas-style practice. Everything centered on rebounding, box outs, gang rebounding, contesting every possession. The entire session was built around taking that advantage away. No shortcuts, no overthinking, just a direct answer to the biggest problem in the series. In Game 6, it showed. The Lakers out-rebounded Houston 67-55. In one practice, they erased the Rockets' biggest structural advantage. This was not year 1 JJ getting picked apart by a veteran coach anymore. He outcoached a guy who had been to the finals before. Now let's talk about the player who made all of it work. LeBron James is something the league has genuinely never seen before. The averages tell you part of the story. 23.2 points, 7.2 rebounds, 8.3 assists, 38.7 minutes a night against a team loaded with elite wing defenders. He is the all-time leader in regular season points. He is the all-time leader in playoff points. And he is still adding to both. And remember, he is 41 years old. But the moments are what stay with you. The reverse windmill in Game 2, the strip on Shepherd, then the game-tying 3 with 13 seconds left. The way he carried the offense late in a game his team had no business winning. The way he owned game for when he played badly, accepted the benching from JJ without complaint, and let his teammates carry it. Then he came back in Game 6 and put up 28, 7, and 8 to slam the door on Houston season. This was not a farewell tour. There was no nostalgia driving any of this. This was a player who refused to let his team lose. LeBron put his fingerprints on every single win. And then there's a supporting cast, the part of the story that gets overlooked because LeBron is always the headline. A different guy stepped up every single night. Luke Kennard set the tone in Game 1. He scored 27 points, went 5 for 5 from 3, and his shooting forced Houston to stretch its defense. That changed the spacing and opened up everything else for the Lakers for the rest of the series. Marcus Smart owned Game 3. 21 points, 10 assists, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. That is the kind of playoff stat line only a handful of players have ever produced. Rui Hachimura became the matchup Houston could not solve. He finished the series with 2 of the Lakers' biggest individual performances and kept forcing the Rockets into uncomfortable defensive decisions every time they tried to adjust. DeAndre Ayton anchored the paint and grabbed 16 rebounds in the closeout, exactly when the Lakers needed control inside. Austin Reeves came back rusty in Game 5, but he looked sharper attacking the rim in Game 6 and gave Los Angeles a real second creator off the dribble when they needed one. The story coming into this series was that the Lakers were shorthanded. What actually happened was everybody ate, which brings us to Game 6. The Lakers walked into Houston looking to close the series out on the road. JJ Redick took the floor after installing a brand new rebounding identity in just 48 hours. LeBron took the floor with a chance to put a final stamp on one of the most unlikely series wins of his career. They started slowly.
Get it done in 6 games over the Rockets. LeBron James and company.
Houston was ahead midway through the first quarter, and you could feel the building coming alive. The crowd was loud. The Rockets had energy, and for a moment it felt like the pressure had shifted back again. Then the second quarter happened, and that was where the series ended. The Lakers opened the period on a 13-1 run and never looked back. Houston went completely cold. At one point, the Rockets missed 15 straight shots. They scored only 13 points in the entire quarter. By halftime, the Lakers were up 49-31. The lead stretched to 20 in the second half and stayed there. JJ emptied the bench halfway through the fourth. LeBron finished with 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists in 37 minutes. Hachimura added 21 points and knocked down 5 of 7 from 3. Ayton pulled down 16 rebounds. Houston shot just 35% from the field and a brutal 17.9% from deep. Final score, 98-78. The Lakers closed it out in 6. LeBron James and company sent the Rockets home. So now what? Now the Lakers get the Oklahoma City Thunder. The defending champions just swept Phoenix 4-0. Every single win came by double digits. It was the first time in NBA history a defending champion had ever opened the playoffs with a first-round sweep where every win came by double figures. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander averaged 33 points and 8 assists in the sweep. He dropped 42 in Game 3 and is playing the best basketball of his career right now. And if you are a Lakers fan, the regular season head-to-head is the part that should make you uneasy. Oklahoma City went 4-0 against Los Angeles in the regular season. The average margin of victory was 29 points. But here is the wild card. Luka Doncic has not played since April 2nd. He still has not returned to contact, but he is doing light individual work and ramping up. His 4 to 6 week recovery window from that grade 2 hamstring tear puts his earliest possible return around May 7th.